Guy transports a bee colony by carrying the queen in his fist. A giant honeybee making waves to repel predatory wasps. Imagine never seeing this before and coming across it. Please do not use machine filled with bees. Unleash hell for just 150. Chonky bee. This woman will put bees in your office. Can we stop her, or is it just happening no matter what? This picture of a bee playing a violin. Honey buzzard flying away with a piece of honeycomb. Return the slab. No one understands me like the bees do. Son, come home. I am home. The only news story I'm interested in. Honeybees let out a whoop when they bump into each other. The bees have a more romantic life than I do, so I got a notification from our security camera that someone was at our front door. Buzz him in. If your girl looks like this, she's a keeper. They put a bee in a human hospital bed. Sorry sir, we have no more beds left. What about that one? Oh, that's a bees. I can't express how much I hate fucking bees. And stop fucking bees. It's a really simple solution. You know what I meant. Not after the bee movie, we don't. I wonder who was the first person to look at a beehive and think, those guys are hiding something delicious in there, and I know it. Did you catch the license plate? Bees. It had bees. He was honestly the only normal character in the whole movie. Beekeeper life work is destroyed by arsonists who trashed his hives, sheds, and greenhouse. Bee movie, but every time they say bee, I eat a spoonful of honey. The face of a broken man. The ultimate sacrifice. Finally, they're making a live-action bee movie. Can't wait. The best part about being an artist is being able to draw what most people are afraid of the most. Beekeeping dog in astronaut suit detects infected hives by smell. Microscopic look at a bee stinger versus the point of a needle. The precision of nature beats the clumsy attempts of humans every time. Well, I be damned. What in the hillbilly of hee-haw is going on here? Decline in bee population linked to increase in bees not safe for work consumption videos. Plan B is a personal robotic bee designed to mimic how bees pollinate flowers and crops. Can you imagine walking through the park and a Terminator bee flies past you? A single bee is making an immortal clone army thanks to a genetic fluke. If you liked the bee's knees, then you'll love Bumble Bottoms. In 2016, a swarm of 20,000 bees followed a car for 2 days straight because their queen was trapped inside. Simps. 6 months ago, I said, bees are lovely, aren't they, to my mum. Bees don't fly in the dark. I've never seen a more perfect image of, when I'm off work, I'm off work. Does anyone got tips on making honey? I've been grinding the bees up really small, but it still tastes horrible. Netflix is concerned about some of its users. Someone watched the bee movie 357 times this year. According to Netflix, a wasp flew out of the recycling bin and brushed against my lips, and yet I can't stop thinking about him. Who? The wasp. B1. You get one chance to sting someone, so make sure they're a threat. Well, that guy over there's walking. He's doing what? Wasps could be just as valuable as bees if we give them a chance. Did a wasp write this? Be there, or that square is 5 bees by 6. I'll have you know that is a failed bee rectangle. You have failed. Creating bees. God, make them highly beneficial to the ecosystem. Angel, sure thing boss. Give him the greatest knees of all time. If you glue a dead wasp to your palm, you can smack your boss on the back of the head as hard as you want and act like you saved him. Why is this bee notice styled like a wedding invitation? The alphabet is terrifying. A BC. No thanks. We're good. I can't even articulate how fucking bad this joke is. Men arrested because they had hives. Not the disease, but bee homes. And they are accused of stealing them. 1908. I can't read Russian. The illegitimate son of a bee and a tiger. A giant nightmare bee that was once thought to be extinct has been discovered alive. Why don't humans have a specific noise that means, there are bees here, let's leave immediately? Why are elephants more advanced than us? We do have a specific noise. It sounds like this. There are bees here, let's leave immediately. A wise man once said, bees don't waste their time explaining to flies that honey is better than shit. Unfortunately, flies have the same voting power and reproduce faster than bees. You promise you didn't get me bees again? Me, from a distance. Just open it. The smallest McDonald's is located in Sweden, but it's for bees. To all the bears eating bee honey in the woods right now, kindly enjoy. And what about the bees, huh? Your home is fucking gone. A TikTok was circulating claiming that turmeric powder baths help remove fleas and people tried it. Turns out it does work, but it also dyes your cat yellow, the size of bees this year. The government is using fake hornet nests to hide face recognition cameras. Whenever you see a hornet's nest, hit it with a stick to destroy the camera. Bumblebees covered in pollen. Haha, me after a pack of Watsits. Has a bee ever landed on you, and instead of getting scared, you appreciate the possibility that you got confused for a flower? An emotional support bee. Damn, GTA 6 looks lit. It took 10,000 bees 25 years to make the honey you just wasted. Takes 550 bees to make about a pound of honey in 2 to 3 weeks. Where did you get those numbers from? I made them up for dramatic effect. 10,000 bees. Come outside. No, I don't want to. Coward. would. We are going to hurt you. Honeymoon or something. I don't know. I'm single. A waitress complimented my new shirt today, and it took everything I had in me, not to explain that it was the entirety of the B-movie script, printed really, really small. What's on your mind? If the queen bee is the mother of all the bees in the hive, then why did Barry B have parents? Wouldn't they technically be his siblings? Imagine setting this loose in the middle of a big auditorium while some important speech is going on. So this morning, I was playing with the slow-mo on my phone, hoping to get a majestic video of a bumblebee taking off, but instead, I found this dumb fuck. A beekeeper forgot to fit the frame for the honeycomb when reassembling his hive, so the bees built to maximize the airflow. This spoonful of honey I just had is the best honey I've had in my life. Find me the bee who was responsible. The bee responsible for this honey. Blushes. Help him get his honey. He has been a naughty bear. No honey. Give him the honey. He is sorry. Okay, he can have his honey, just as planned. It is time for a tutorial. Here are some nice things you should give to bees. Why call it ADHD when you can call it bees in my head? There are bees in my head. Whenever I try to focus, there are bees in my fucking head. Wow, this blew up. I guess I should link to one of my creative projects. Except, I've never actually finished anything because of all these bees in my fucking head. If you put a bee in the freezer, it will get cold and fall asleep. After it's asleep, put it in your mouth, but don't eat it. Just let it sit there. It will get warm and wake up. Now, you have a bee in your mouth. Why the fuck would I want to do that? Her. I'll have the salad. No nuts, please. Waiter. Of course. Me. It didn't say it had nuts. I'm allergic, so I had to tell them to be safe. That makes sense. And for you? Steak. No bees, please. Bees. Dancing to communicate. Bee cop. Break dancing gently. I'm sorry. Your wife is dead. Bee. Twerking. No. How could this have happened? Bee cop. Moonwalking. She was eaten by a bird. It was quick and painless. I love when I'm studying outside and a bee is like, flower. Are you a flower? I check. Is laptop a flower? I check. No one here a flower. Ciao. And I wave goodbye, saying thank you for visiting, little bee. Bees don't think in English, you fools. You imbeciles. The bee said ciao. It's obviously Italian. A little about me. I'm a beekeeper. I see a bee. I keep it. I don't care whose bee it is. Should have been watching it better. Holy shit. So today in class, the weirdest thing happened. A bee got into my class and everyone was freaking out. So all of a sudden, this kid goes, I got it. And he pulls out a rubber fucking band and shoots it the fuck down in one try. My teacher just stood there. Nobody knew how to react. Befriend this child. He will be useful in your quest. Buy this cologne to smell like a bee. Smell like a bee. Goddamn bee from a movie. Goddamn bee. Before winter, the National Park Service will offer dozens of watermelons to local bee colonies to help give them one last super mega glucose burst before winter finally sets in. The bees clearly appreciate this. To help hydrate our pollinators, fill a bowl with marbles and add water. Marbles give the bees a safe place to land so they can drink without drowning. Innovative bee bricks can be placed in your home to provide a safe environment for local bees to nest safely. The world is okay, this meme. Minutes later, look, a bee. It's a humming bee. These are bee flies, harmless to everything else. These little precious cutie pies sneak their eggs into beehives, where their larvae can parasite bee larvae and eat their food reserves. This bee lives less than 40 days, visits at least 1,000 flowers, and produces less than a teaspoon of honey. For us, it's just a teaspoon of honey, but for the bee, it's a lifetime. Thank you, bees. Nobody will care, but my first honey harvest from my beehive. We care. Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly. Done. Sting like a bee. I am nailing this. Today's animal of the day is bee fly. When you're in your bee suit and you feel sweat running down your back, that's fine. If you feel sweat running up your back, that's a bee. Some beekeeping advice my mum gave me today. I thought bee suit meant like a bee costume until I read the word beekeeping. Hummingbird sharing a water fountain with 4 bees. I'm laughing so hard because this is deadass what bees do. Save them. I have the bee movie script memorized and my friends are telling me I should recite a couple of minutes for the talent show. Even better is that I'm a speed talker at around 420 words per minute so I can get even more of the script done. Hi, what's your talent? Reciting the bee movie script. Excuse me, what? I said reciting the bee movie script. Here is a picture of a bumblebee's butt and its little legs hanging out of a flower, just in case you needed it today. Bee pollinates flowers, makes honey. Wasp, just a dick. How people with bee sting allergies be dodging bees. Bees don't sting, unprovoked. Honey, that is not honey. Do not eat that. I'm crying. Spicy honey. You can eat it, but only once. Dear Tumblr, this is a fucking bumblebee, and this is a fucking bee. Me, has multiple exams and papers due. Also me, currently watching the entire bee movie, but every time they say bee, it gets faster. They are on a coffee date. May I take your order? When the bees kill a wasp in the bee documentary. When the bees kill a wasp in the wasp documentary. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Please take notes. Friend who makes wax and lots of honey. Friend who is extra fuzzy and loves flowers. Peace piece of shit. Barbara, what do you want? I'm going to the B movie premiere. Say no more. She is. Yes, we are all cousins. When I tried to be friendly. I remember when B movie promoted bestiality. Bestiality. I need a moment. These are all screen caps from this godforsaken movie. Always thinking about how the US Geological Survey could not classify this bee, so they put its species into the official government files as bee cute furry face. I remember when I used to see a bee and go, yikes, a bee. And now I'm all like, oh wow, a bee, hi. Are you okay there? Need anything? Can I get you a drink? A cushion? Want to borrow the car? New bee simulator game is like GTA, but with bees. Florida teen stung over 600,000 times after inserting his pee-pee inside of a beehive. Woman accused of unleashing bees on deputies serving an eviction notice. Male bees die after mating. That's basically their life. Honey, nut, Cheerio, bee, vomits, humans. This is some serious gourmet shit. Security failure. EpiPen's database of everyone who is allergic to bees has been obtained by bees. Bees are nice. They probably got this information so they could avoid stinging certain people. I trust them. This little honeybee has done so much for us, this planet. Kitten bee, a tiny predator that hunts mosquitoes and other pests for you, keeps company with bumblebees and honeybees. Purrs are very small. We're still waiting on the bees review. This guy captured a bee in his house and forced it to watch Bee Movie. Hey bro, are you a flower? Because I'm really into flowers, like really into them, and you totally look like one. Bro, I love you. Utah cabin had uninvited guests, 60,000 bees. Bad news, Apple bees. Now I'm wondering why the hell I didn't make this joke. Those aren't even bees, they're fucking wasps. Concerned about our loss of bees, Morgan Freeman converted his 124-acre ranch into a bee refugee. He's hired a gardener filled with acres of clover, planted hundreds of flowering trees, purchased 26 hives, and has turned himself into a beekeeper. Hold up, ain't no dang way he stole that from the Bee Movie, son. Some folks have been photoshopping their cats' faces onto bees. I hope you get a blessing from it. The process of making friends with a carpenter bee. The death of my friend bee. Sticks and leggy, out real far. I told Otis to stay away from the bee, but he did not listen. Now he's out here looking like the Kardashians. Did you know that bees sleep between 5 and 8 hours a day? Sometimes in flowers. Also, they like to sleep with other bees and hold each other's feet. Bees can be blue. The blue carpenter bee is a non-aggressive, semi-solitary. They do not build hives like honeybees, but instead prefer to live inside dead wood. Bees have to be careful around water, especially when weighted down with pollen or if it's windy. In this photo, caution and concern is displayed as a bee supports a baby bee to have what is more than likely its first ever drink from the deep water. Bees in the summer when they see an open soda. Oh boy, I wish I had a reason to peel all of my skin off. The 10,000 bees living in my veins. Like the video to activate the bees. How do I turn it off? Subscribe to deactivate the bees. I sent the Bee Movie script over iMessage to my friend who lives overseas, but it did not send as an iMessage and sent us 315 text messages instead, and I'm going to be charged for international texting for all of them. Me. Sometimes I dress up like a bear and run into the woods looking for bees to rob so they will sting me all over, and I can feel their little stingers penetrate deep into my skin. My therapist, twirling her hair. Haha, yeah. What are you doing after this? There's the graduate. We're very proud of you, son. And a perfect report card. All bees. The Yao tribe in Africa uses the greater honey guide bird to help them find bees. They have learned to communicate with the birds with a grunt that the birds know mean let's go find honey. A swarm of nearly 40,000 bees attacked police responding to a single bee sting report. Today, I rescued a bee. Please do this if you find one on the floor. Walked home for 10 minutes. Flatmate dropped some sugar water on the doorstep. Sip. Decided he has had enough. He kept trying to lift off, but he couldn't quite do it. Resting. Having a little cleanup. First attempt. Had a bit of a fail, but he made it in the end. Goodbye, friend. No. I went to the farmer's market yesterday, and at the honey guy's booth, and there were all these bees just hanging out, checking out the beeswax tabs floating around the honey jars. Not being aggressive, just really gentle and investigating or something. And he was giving me a sample of a wildflower honey. One of them landed on his hand, and he just took a drop from the jar and dabbed it on his hand for the bee. And when I asked if they were his bees, he said, no, but they show up every time I go out. I think they just know my truck. This guy is well known among the local bees and lets them sit on his hand and eat his honey, and I just really like the bee guy. He's a bee charmer, that's why. I learned yesterday that when you see a bee on the ground that isn't moving, it's not necessarily dead. It's probably just dead tired from carrying lots of pollen and needs to be re-energized. So, if you mix a tiny bit of water with some sugar and let it drink, it gives the boost it needs to continue on its way. Bizarrely, this exact thing happened today. I found a knackered bee, mixed up some sugar water, gave it a drink, watched it guzzle and guzzle, then suddenly come back to life. It was amazing. amazing. Thank you, Patrick. That was an excellent tip that I will never forget and continue to pass on to others.